but it also helped lead into the rest of it. Now, I had inserted that after I had gotten all of this written. And so I changed, like, this part here ended up getting changed a little bit because of what this said, okay? Modesty is a way of opening doors, operating in a culture that respects more what a woman can accomplish instead of what she can show off. One example of a business dress code is exemplified by Disneyland. Disney is a powerful company that many people have to get in line to apply to work there. Now, I do not like those two sentences, but I'm going to keep going because I can go back and revise it later. My ideas are still flowing. I'm not going to stop and edit every sentence, okay? Turn that editor off until you get chunks, and then go back and revise. On the website Disney Careers, the common theme throughout the dress code descriptions of hair length, makeup, jewelry, and nails is neutral, neutral, neutral. Everything in moderation is the motto. Even guests have rules, as they are not allowed to wear costumes if they are over the age of 10. The purpose is to avoid confusion of other guests and the employees who are dressed as characters. The happiest place on earth is happy because it creates a purposeful atmosphere for families to enjoy. Its success is based on the way people perceive it. Okay, so I'm going to leave out one example, and I'm going to combine the idea of the example of Disney into the next sentence. And you guys will see that on the finished product. Okay, now, here, do you notice my last line? It says, its success is based on the way people perceive it. What I've done is talked about perception, okay? That leads in to my next statement. This is an opposing view. There is often an argument that society should not judge people based on the way they look. Okay, that's true. That's a very common argument. Don't judge me based on the way I look, okay? However, this is not only unavoidable, it is unrealistic. See, again, do you see how rough some of my language is? And that's okay. I'll go back and fix it. Though Walmart has a dress code, it has a certain reputation for low class because of the way customers have dressed. There's a whole Facebook page called People of Walmart that posts funny, or more accurately, embarrassing pictures of the customers of Walmart. Audiences all over America and even the world have laughed and guffawed at the pictures available of the strangely dressed patrons. And these patrons are associated with Walmart. Though the way a person dresses does not lose the self is portrayed to others, and Walmart pays the price. There are many people who will not patronize a Walmart specifically because of the customers allowed there. Okay, so I wrote associated here. I don't really like that word, but I fix it later and I'll point it out to you, but I wanted to bring your attention to that. Have you guys seen that Facebook page? Has anybody ever seen it? It's pretty wild. Yeah. The things people wear is just wild, and they're constantly posting new pictures of what people wear.
I don't think Walmart cares.
Apparently not. I mean, whatever, you know.
Walmart's like a white trash can.
Maybe. How many people just don't like going there? You don't ever like going there? Okay. When Walmart came in over on Rosedale Highway, I was very excited because it's cheap. It has great, has a lot of good deals there. But it is, right now it's an absolute mess, and I avoid it like the plague because they're redoing it, remodeling it.
Yeah,
And
we
so.
have the Walmart superstore over on Gosford. That's where my mom shops a lot.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
Like for dough season, we bought like 8 or 9 packs, and it was like $5.
Yeah.
And that's pretty good.
Yeah. They have good prices there, but a lot of people, won't go. Okay, now did you notice here, I have this point, story of a mother who bought her son a shirt so they could shop at Walmart. Now, I actually had heard this story years ago, and I meant to look it up. There was a story of a woman who, her son was shirtless, and no shirt, no service, okay? So she had to go in, buy a shirt so that he could go shopping with her. I thought it was an interesting story about Walmart, but it doesn't really help my thesis much, or my argument, does it? And so, because I hadn't looked it up yet, and it didn't really seem to help my argument, it wasn't worth it. So I'm going to take that part out. It's actually better without it. Okay. Now, this last part, customers are not the only ones affected. In the business world, dressing immodestly can directly affect a person in the workplace. Now notice, I went ahead and capitalized on the word customers. We had just been talking about how a customer base can affect a business. Happiest place on earth, even the customers have a dress code so that they can have this overall atmosphere. Walmart, just like Hunter said, doesn't care, and so you get all kinds of interesting characters at Walmart, and it is associated with that company. But customers, now do you see what I've done? I've transitioned to my next point about how business and dress codes are important, how they can portray a look. And so I put that in my next sentence so that there's this transition into a new topic sentence. Now, do you notice I'm still on argument A? How many paragraphs do I have? At least 3, right? Okay. Now, I know we're all trained for that 5-paragraph essay where we have one argument, one paragraph. And I think you know that it's got to be more than one paragraph, but it's kind of like it's not something you think about until I remind you and go, oh yeah, it's got to be more than one paragraph because I got to write 10 pages. So, of course, your arguments are going to be more than one paragraph. I have seen single paragraph arguments, but they tend to be like a run-on sentence. They go on and on and on, and then they change. You have subjects that get changed where a new sentence, a new paragraph needs to be made. So think about what are your subpoints, and do the subpoints warrant a paragraph by themselves? Okay? So it's a decision to make. It depends on your topic. It depends on your argument. Last period, somebody brought up the idea that, hey, can I dedicate, what happens if I have a really major argument that takes 3 pages and I have a minor argument that only takes a page? Yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine. If that's what your argument does, that's what your argument does. The trick is where to place it. Where do you think your most important, most well-developed, powerful argument should go in the order of your paper? Last, why?
So you end on a good note.
Exactly. That's one of 2 very strong reasons. You want to end on a good note, but the reason you want to end on a good note is because people remember the last thing you say. That's why you want to end on a good note. They remember the beginning of the essay and they remember the end. And if your most powerful argument is at the end, you develop all the weaker ones and go, boom, you kind of hit them with this really hard, powerful argument at the end. Okay? So you decide. Now, this is my weakest argument, I suppose. When I get going in writing the rest of this paper, I may decide that this will be more in the middle. Feel free to reorganize, even once you've got the whole thing written out. And trust me, I know what it's like. You get the whole thing written out, you're going to go, oh, it's done. Okay, well, don't do that. Reread it. Is it flowing in the direction you want to go? Does it build? Okay, don't be afraid to move whole passages around. That's the beauty of technology. You guys, I know you don't know what this is like, but my research papers had to be on a typewriter. Can you imagine trying to move things around on a typewriter? I had to retype them completely. So obviously they were poorly written because I wasn't going to retype them completely. There was just no way I was going to do that. So if it sucked in the order it sucked, and I got the grade accordingly because I wasn't going to retype it. It was crazy. Okay, so here let's look at this. For example, dressing sexy can actually inhibit a woman's ability to move up in a company. According to Susan M. Heathfield on About.com, sexy isn't better and can actually submarine a woman's career. She references a study by Tulane University that examines the sexual behavior and dress of women in the workplace. the conclusions were that not only did more provocative women receive fewer promotions, they actually earned less than their more conservative counterparts. Okay, now that's kind of a small paragraph, but that's okay, because it does a few things, and I'll show you what I did later. But what does it mean when I have submarine in quotation marks?
You liked the way she described it.
And I used her exact word.
Yeah.
Yes. So